prior to the inauguration in 2021, did you advocate for martial law with the President of the United States?
I don't recall ever discussing that.
Well, are you saying it didn't happen, or you're saying you don't owe one way or the other?
I don't recall ever discussing that.
Okay. Did you discuss that topic, the idea that there should be martial law declared in the United States prior to the inauguration of President Biden?
Your Honor, I'm going to have to object. I actually represent the President of the United States, and that's covered by executive privilege. She can't get into this kind of stuff.
Advocated for martial law to be imposed in a conversation with the Chief of Staff of the then President of the United States, Mr. Trump.
You can answer the question.
I don't recall.
Thank you.
Did you ever advocate for martial law prior to the inauguration of Mr. Biden with any member of the White House staff that was part of the Trump administration?
I don't recall.
So that was Marjorie Greene in court last Friday. Doesn't recall. And why would you commit to memory something so irrelevant as whether you'd advocated for effectively the at least brief military takeover of the country to keep a president who lost election in office? Advocating for martial law, that's something you do casually as you're having breakfast or something. You're not gonna remember that, Woz. Well, it turns out the reason she couldn't recall, which is not a denial, it's an evasion, is because yes, she advocated for martial law, although she does have a defense. Martial law, as in M-A-R-T-I-A-L, martial as having to do with the martial, like arts, the military. She didn't technically do that, but she did send this text to Mark Meadows 4 days before inauguration. In our private chat with only members, several are saying the only way to save our republic is for Trump to call for martial law. Like, Marshall, like at Marshall's, where the only law is that you'll get a great bargain on whatever you buy. I don't know on those things. I just wanted you to tell him they stole this election. We all know they will destroy our country next. Please tell him to declassify as much as possible so we can go after Biden and everyone else. So that was on the 17th. That was 11 days after January 6th. So they tried their insurrection. They tried to stop the certification. Days before Biden is gonna be sworn in, she's like, what can we do? Let's just take over. Let's send the military into the streets and stop the transfer of power. So you don't have to recall anymore, Marjorie Greene. We know exactly what you sent to Mark Meadows. Woz, what do you think?
I thought it was weaselly. That's what I love about these people who throw stones and hide their hands. Like when it's actually time to have some skin in the game and let your voice actually be heard with some I'll say this under oath. I'll stand behind all of this stuff. They always duck and run. It's so cowardice. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is no different. She's a fraud. It's a shame that people actually support this level of cowardice. Also, it's a shame that the quote unquote opposition can't beat this, can't convince people that this is a fraud and that they should follow something with more tangible benefits to their lives. That's really the shame of it all, is that a huckster like Marjorie Taylor Greene can just basically run this long grift and nobody will challenge her on the Democratic side because they've been so wholly discredited in as far as the name of Democrats as hypocrites and useless empty suits that they can't even beat this. This beats 100%. Them, whoops them on a regular occasion.
Yeah. So look, I'm glad that we have the proof, and it was produced in time to potentially inform what the judge says. The judge's report is going to come out possibly as late as Thursday. And then unfortunately it goes to Brad Raffensperger to decide whether she gets to run. So that's cool. I think she's going to be fine. But I agree with Woz, like you can't make anything stick. And look, part of that is definitely Democratic incompetence and cowardice and aversion to conflict and all that. Part of it is the overall destruction of any faith in anything except what makes you feel good that the right has produced over the past few decades. Like she called for martial law. You guys, like on the right, you talk constantly about conspiracy theories about martial law and one world government and all that. That was the thing that Clinton was gonna do or Obama was gonna do. Suddenly it's good, you don't mind it. Or why won't this stick? For instance, this is a text that has now been unveiled that Marjorie Greene sent to Meadows on January 6th, 2:28 p.m. Eastern time. She said, Mark, I was just told there is an active shooter on the first floor of the Capitol. Please tell the president to calm people. This isn't the way to solve anything. Meadows didn't respond, which actually it became a running thing. He wasn't really paying attention to her. But so Marjorie Greene, who is rightly terrified that at any moment she could be killed, is saying, tell the president you have to calm people. This isn't the way. Now, what is implicit in that? That she thinks it is on him to do that they would listen to him, that they're his people, that this is something Trump was trying to do. She's saying it right there, Waz, and then immediately she's gonna change her tone entirely. In fact, less than 1 hour later, I'm gonna jump ahead to at 3:52 p.m. So it's like 1 hour, 20 minutes or something. She texted Meadows, Mark, we don't think these attackers are our people. We think they are Antifa, dressed like Trump supporters. Why do you think that? Because it feels good to think that. And so Marjorie Greene fans will never see any of these text messages, but if they do, which they won't on Fox, they're not gonna cover any of this. They'll be like, yeah, no, they were Antifa. They were Antifa when they needed to be Antifa. They were a great special people when they need to be those. Now that they're locked up, those Antifa, they're great patriots. Oh, and also, she thought it was on Trump to get them to stop. But they won't, none of this matters. None of it will break through, Waz. They just believe whatever they need to believe, and it can change back and forth every second if it has to.
You know what this reminds me of, oddly? This reminds me of Russel Simmons selling rush cards. Russel Simmons is from a neighborhood called Hollis, which is like adjacent to where I grew up in Queens Village. And so he had always been a hero of mine, taking hip hop mainstream, being the lion of the culture, et cetera, et cetera. Then he started selling rush cards, and I was like, yo, Russel Simmons is exploiting our people, right? Like, he's no longer this hero, this great guy that I thought he was. Like, this guy is just another arch capitalist exploiting people with this, predatory rush card thing. This is no different. Oh, this is, but except these people remain in denial. Like, that would be like me saying, no, the rush card is actually good financial planning for people. No, bro, like, these are your people. They're lunatics, and you guys have bred them to be this way, taking advantage of them in a vulnerable state. And this is what you get.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, we just gave you those texts, what these people were actually saying at the time, not publicly, by the way. This is apparently their true thoughts, this is what they're sending to Meadows, and it doesn't matter. And you can add that to so many things that we've seen previously. Heads with the director, I'm gonna jump to this last big screenshot. So this is just a screenshot I took from an article on Yahoo News of all of the different people on the right that, as it was happening, clearly knew that this was on Trump, that it was his fault, because they were all sending him messages. Mick Mulvaney was saying, Mark, he needs to stop this now. Can I do anything to help? Ryan Priebus says, tell them to go home. Don Jr. says, this one you go to the mattresses on. They will try to F his entire legacy on this if it gets worse. William Tibbins, the representative, says the president needs to stop this. Meadows says we are doing it, which implies again that they know they should and that potentially they can. Representative Barry Loudermilk, it's really bad up here on the Hill. They've breached the Capitol. All of them are saying you've got to do something because it's on you. And then a couple days go by and that's not on them anymore. It was Antifa when it needed to be, and now they're all patriots, and we're all totally fine. It's all fine. It's whatever it needs to be. That's how politics works. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.